What is happening, guys? Welcome to session 109. We are currently looking at SPX, guys. We have a wild week, past week to talk about, and then obviously we're going to be talking about this current week as well, what's going on. Obviously, you guys know what happened last week. We had a crazy week in the stock market, but let's go over the week overview, guys. Let's go over actually what happened first last week. I think we're going to switch it up, what happened first last week, and then we're going to dive into what our actual results were in the Mogul Fellows portfolio. So what we've written down here was the past week headlines. So we had SPY rose to start November, but pain later in the week we all felt at last week. Market fell steeply on overvaluation concerns. And then I also want to add, I did add here, also the government shutdown as well. We also have Michael Berry puts on NVIDIA and Palantir. We saw those, I think, last Monday. We saw Bitcoin dropping below 100K for the first time since June. SCOTUS, Supreme Court, raising concerns on Trump tariffs. The government shutdown we mentioned, we had longest in history, guys. So whenever that ends, it'll be the longest in history. And there's rumors that, it will be ending this week, hopefully. We'll go and get into that in a second. We also have labor data came in pretty bad last week. We had triple the layoffs. Then in September, obviously, Amazon, as you saw, I think they were laid off like 14,000 people, and they're expected to lay off a ton more in the future ahead in the next 5-10 years, guys. So and then obviously, guys, the Tesla shirt we have on, Tesla shareholders approve Musk pay package. That was last week on the Tesla shareholder meeting, guys. So if you guys didn't see that, it's on YouTube. You guys know we are a big Tesla investor in our long-term portfolio, guys. If you guys are not part of the Discord, go over to mogulfellows.com, check out membership. You get to see pretty much everything, our buy alerts, sell alerts, both our Mogul 30 portfolio alerts, our Mogul option portfolio. You get to see what we buy in the long term, our case studies, etc., guys. So if you guys are not a part of the Mogul Fellows Club VIP, you guys need to get in, guys. All right. So now let's go over what happened, what our total value was logged this past weekend. So we logged I believe it was down from last week, obviously, since we had a kind of a hefty week in the stock market. We had a 69.8 last week. We are logging a 66,850. $66,850.09 total value of the Mogul Fellows brand, guys. We'll dive in what each account holds. We have Mogul 30 at 27.6. Market, we have 13.3 in, and then 14.3 on the in cash, guys. Mogul options, we have at 19,888. I believe that was a big chunk of our difference in the value, as it was 21 last week. It is 19 this week, and that was NVIDIA, guys. Our NVIDIA 100 shares NVIDIA that we are running options on. Our stock pot, our long-term stock pot, guys, is 15,699.46, and our Mogul crypto pot is 2,135. So we're slowly building that crypto and slowly building the long-term case studies in these accounts. Mogul spending, we had 1,300. We're still deciding what we want to do with those. Obviously, it's going to be going towards activities and giving back and such, like stuff in that matter. Mogul checking, obviously, this is kind of like a transfer account. We send it there, and then we transfer it over to other asset classes. But we have that record low here. We have $4 just because we took everything out, put it towards our Coinbase. And then savings, 150, just for emergency purposes. But okay, so here is what I want to talk about for the Mogul 30, our trading accounts, Mogul 30 and Mogul options, guys. So Mogul 30 capital freed was 1,577.69. Capital deployed last week was 3,700. So we have deployed a lot more than what we took out, and that was mainly due to, you know, the market coming down. We didn't have, you know, enough positions to, you know, exit and free cash, so we put more in the market due to, you know, stocks going for deals, guys. So that is that 3,700 in compared to the 1,577 free last week in the Moto 30. We profited only a $76.96. That is, if you divide the 76.96 by 1,577.69, that we freed up the cash that we used to make that 76. We got a 4.87% week return on investment on the Mogul 30, guys. So that was the performance last week for the Mogul 30, the 30 stocks that we trade, 50 stocks we watch. We are in 30, 20 on the sideline. We want to exit one, we have to take from one of the 20 on the sideline. And so it's an awesome strategy. Dollar cost average every day, trim accordingly. You know, we exit, we trim, stuff like that, guys. Profit pretty well in the Mogul 30. But now we just recently mentioned the Mogul options, and the very first activity that we did last week that we couldn't really mention was on our Nvidia 100 shares. We did a covered call. We did 100 shares, guys, which right now we have those shares at $14,610, so $146.10 average price. That is what I had it at before I transferred it over and gave it to Mogul Fellows. So strike, we did a 212.50, guys. 212.50, I believe. Nvidia was selling around when we did it, I think it was 208, 209, and we did a 212.50 strike for expiration last Friday, November 7th, 2025. That expired worthless, guys. As we saw, the market really dipped down. We could have ended this, we could have bought back. We were gonna actually buy it back and then run another one for a lower strike price to get a premium, but we just didn't really want to do it. It wasn't really worth it. So the premium was only like $20 or something like that, or I could have done a really, because I think it went down to like in the 180s, and I don't want to sell at that price, and all the way up to 200 was not enough premium for us to do. So we ended up though with that 212.50 strike for last November 7th, last Friday. The premium we got was $200.96, guys, and it did not get assigned. So we get to keep our shares, guys, and we get to run another one this week. We keep that premium regardless, guys. So the buyer, so we pretty much put our shares up for collateral. The buyer of that contract buys the 212.50, pays the seller, us, $296. If it goes above 212.50, or as far, I believe you would have to go up more for it to be worth it to break even. We would be entitled, say it goes to 220, 230, within that time frame, we'd be entitled to sell it at 212.50, which we're fine. We want to sell it at whatever strike price we want to do it anyway. We're trading. So we get that $200 premium, and then we get whatever appreciation. This is a pretty hefty appreciation since we had these shares before I did, and then I gave them to Mobile Fellows. So we're not gonna, when this position gets assigned, we are not going to go put those profits into something. We're gonna keep those profits in the Mogul options account because of the profits, like around $5,000. So we're going to keep that in the Mogul options because we could do, covered calls on stocks that are $200 or less. So if we ran another one today, you guys will find out next week what we did. But we're just going to keep running these covered calls until it gets assigned, and then we're going to jump back into a stock and do another one, covered call campaigns, guys. So that's what we call it. So with the Mogul 30 and the Mogul options together, switch this song here. Together, guys, if you combine the $200.96 with the premium that we received last week, plus the 76.96, we came to a 277.92 profit that we made from the market last week. That'll be dispersed into the mobile stock pot, mobile crypto pot, and the mobile spending, and then also paying myself a little bit. So that is pretty much the weekly overview of last week, guys. We went over the headlines, we went over what happened in the portfolio. So now let's dive into what's going on. Obviously, we have some government shutdown news. Before we get into that, though, kind of want to look at what's happening right now currently with SPX, guys. So S&P 500 bouncing, guys, on the news. That government shutdown might be ending, guys. Senate passed it last night. We just need the House to pass it to confirm that the government will be opening back up. So let's dive into that news. We see a little recovery and it above that 50-day moving average, bouncing off that 200-day there. So that is SPX. We see it at the 6832 range at a high of 6920. We're trying to get this guy to 7,000, guys. 7,000 by the end of the year. That's our prediction. We did that little bet on Robinhood. We're predicting that it'll be above 7,000, and then I think in between 7,000 and 7,300 or 200, something like that, guys. So we did a little $40 bet there on Robinhood for the event contracts. So now let's read this to you guys, and then we'll wrap up this session. But today, Dow closes up nearly 400 points. NASDAQ rebounds 2% with end to shutdown, government shutdown in sight. So let's go ahead and read this off. Stocks closed higher on Monday today after Senate lawmakers took a critical step toward a potential deal to end the historic U.S. government shutdown, longest in history. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 381 points, or 0.81, to end at 47,368. S&P gained 1.54% to settle at 6832. NASDAQ advanced to 2.27 to finish at 23,527. Nvidia and Broadcom and other artificial intelligence bull market leaders led the gains as a possible end to the shutdown put investors in a risk-taking mood again. Microsoft shares also rose 1.9%, snapping an 8-day losing streak, its longest daily slide since 2011. Those stocks led the broader market lower last week as those on Wall Street grew worrisome about elevated valuations in the AI trade. So we talked about that, the whole Michael Berry thing, and really spooking the market as well. So we have that and the government shutdown. Investors continue to monitor lawmakers' negotiations to pass a federal funding bill that would end the shutdown, guys. Procedural measure that allows other votes on agreement to be held on Monday was approved by a minimum of 60 yes votes after 8 senators in the Democratic caucus broke with the party leadership to support the deal. So we had around 52 Republican and then 8 Democrats really breaking through and passing that for the Senate, guys, for the government to open back up. The deal would be, the deal being would reopen the government into January and reverse some of the recent mass federal layoffs. It also includes future protections for the government workers. The agreement does not include an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies, a key restricting point for the most Democrats, but it would call for a vote on subsidies in December, guys. So it's temporary right now as I am reading. Final vote in the Senate on the funding bill will need to be held, followed by passage by the House. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican from Louisiana, has already urged the chamber's members to start traveling to the nation's capital in order for a vote to happen as soon as possible on the deal, which he expects to take place at some point this week. Fears over the shutdown have driven consumer sentiment to its lowest level in more than 3 years, guys. just above its worst ever, according to a University of Michigan survey released on Friday. So we had that in here. Due to the closure, federal agencies are no longer releasing many key economic reports, including the consumer and producer price indexes, which were scheduled for releases this week. So that's crucial for, Federal Reserve to look at to, cut rates and stuff. So that is very crucial for Jerome Powell to look at to be able to cut rates. So hopefully we'll get that back open. He can cut, in December, which we're all hopefully, hoping for. So if we get that, we could see, market really take off. It's been a bumpy November for risk assets. Tim Holland, chief investment officer at Orion, said to CNBC, citing investors' anxiety toward the shutdown, in addition to valuations and a possible AI bubble as a key driver of the recent downbeat sentiment. All right, what else we got here? And then we'll wrap up. In the past week, the tech-heavy NASDAQ saw its worst week since the tariff-driven sell-off in April, losing roughly 3%. Both the S&P 500 and the 30-stock Dow shed more than 1% in the weekly period. Quote unquote, the concerns last week were reasonable, but I think we've been at least taken one of those three concerns out of the picture, and I think that's a big deal. He added, if you think about the government reopening, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, probably 13% year-on-year earnings growth and seasonality being a tailwind, we're still pretty optimistic on the economy and risk assets in the year end. So guys, that is pretty crazy. Obviously, if we get this shutdown, open back up, the government open back up, we could get, this market really ripping again, as we, last week we saw, very, we saw the VIX really, rise. We saw fear really, come to the market, fear coming, selling out of the market. We saw gold go up, and, a lot of people are, holding cash right now and, wondering what's going to happen with, the government shutdown, Federal Reserve, once, government shutdown ends, the Federal Reserve can, give us idea if they're going to cut rates. And then obviously, AI valuations as well. We'll see what happens with that. But till then, guys, I think, we're going to continue to rip once we get this government officially back open again. And if not, we're ready to, buy deals, guys. We are, that's a part of our strategy in the Mogul 30. We love, having cash available to buy deals when it comes down. That's what we were doing all week last week. If you guys are part of the Discord, you could see what we bought last week. So if you guys are not a part of the Discord, go over to mogulfellows.com, check out membership, check out, I think it's $2.99 a week, or you could pay for a lifetime at $99 on our WAP website. You could get redirected from mogulfellows.com under membership there, guys. So check that out. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leave a comment, guys, and then smash that like button if you like this video. Till next time, guys, hit the outro.